is time. It is time to brew your best beer. The 2017 SJPORR Challenge Gold sponsors. Bouncer, keeping the dregs out with their inline filter for homebrewers. The Brew Bag, simply the best way to brew great beer in your home. Yakima Valley Hops, with over 140 hop varieties available. Omega Yeast Labs, supplying homebrewers with high-quality yeast. And a special thanks to our silver sponsor, BrewTubers Online Brewers Club.
Hey guys, it's Stas here. It's time for the SJPORR 2017 Challenge, Australia-New Zealand heat. So, there's only 3 contestants this year, I think there was 10 or so, maybe 8 last year. Just a quick recap of the SJPORR. The challenge is to brew, well, there's 3 beers that you need to brew with limitations in each. Let me see if I can quickly refresh my mind and give you guys a bit of an idea as well. So there's 3 rounds. The first round is there are certain presets for each round, and anything that you use in one round you can't use in a subsequent round. So round 1 is called the pawn round. You have to have a base malt of your choice, but you have to use some sort of crystal or caramel malt of your choice. You have to have an adjunct, so that could be dextrose, rice solids, honey, whatever you like, but anything you put in this round you can't put in subsequent rounds. And you have to use only the 3 C hops, so that's Cascade, Centennial and Columbus, but you can use them in any way you like, and you have to have an American style yeast. Round 2, you have to have Red X or a blend of Pilsner and Melanoidin malt, and you have to have Munich of some variety. Now these are just like, you have to include them, that's not all that you have to use, but you have to have those in there. And in round 2, only noble hops are allowed, and you have to have a British style of yeast, so they're trying to force you to brew something different. And then round 3 is an imperial round, so you have to use Maris Otter, honey malts, you can use other malts as well, and you have to have flaked oats, use one of the following: flaked oats, flaked barley, flaked wheat, flaked rice, one of those. And you need to have at least 1 food additive, so it could be fruit, could be cocoa nibs, could be spices, could be whatever you like, as long as you hadn't used it earlier. And your original gravity must exceed 1065, so probably looking at a big beer. So, like I said, there's only 3, myself and 2 New Zealanders. Now, usually it's you don't know whose beer it is, but seeing as there's so few, we didn't have a hub this year. So this is Grant Baker's beer. Now I'll hide the code for you so you don't know if he moves on to the next round. He has done an amber ale, so he's used American ale malt, light crystal, Shepherd's Delight, rye malt, and oh my god, look at the hop drops here. Can you see that? Look at all those. So yeah, and he's used WLP 060 American Ale Blend. Ooh, there you go. And this is 5.3%. So very generous. I think this is 750 ml. Let's get cracked. Nice little hiss. Now, Grant Baker. I've only had one of his beers in the past, and that was his last year's SJPORR beer. And that was my pick of the bunch. and it went on to win our round. So I've got high hopes for you, Grant, for this beer. And he was kind enough to send me a few other beers with his SJPORR ones as well. So thanks very much, Grant. But it's not going to buy my any favours from the beer. Right, let's go for a smell. It's a little cold. I've had this out for maybe 15-20 minutes, but it is a big bottle, so I'm getting a light caramel note. It's almost like a dark bread character as well, like fresh rye bread, fresh multigrain rye bread, which could be the rye malt. And there's not a lot of hop aroma yet. There is a big fluffy head. I mean, clarity is pretty awesome. I'm going to get my torch. So, look at this. It's a lovely deep sort of browny red colour. It's trying to accurately show the colour here. There, that's a pretty good colour there. Yeah, pretty clear. Just a slight haze to it, but it's pretty bloody clear. So far so good. Let's go for a taste. Oh. Hang on. There's a lovely caramelly flavour to the beer, which it's actually quite sweet, but then it finishes reasonably clean. It's not a really sweet beer. The bitterness starts to come up and clean up the palate. It's got quite a nice, I mean, look at that body. Not body, the lacing, carbonation. I think I'm getting more of the Centennial notes. Let's have a look at what he used. Centennial Columbus for bittering, and Cascade at 20, Cascade at 10, Centennial at 10, then all three at Whirlpool. Ooh, more Columbus. Okay, and dry hop with all of them. A bit more of Columbus. Huh. It's got a really nice citrusy citrus note. I often get some like sherbet qualities from Columbus. But yeah, I'm getting more like grapefruit, citrusy notes, which I'm pretty sure is Cascade and Centennial. But the real maltiness of the beer is kind of making it difficult to discern specific hop flavors. And fermentation, I can't pick up any esters that would indicate like a bad fermentation. So technically this is an excellent beer, and I'm enjoying this very much. Oh dear. As you can see, this isn't going to last long. So I think I'm going to pause the video here, make a couple of notes, and come back with my final thoughts.
Danny.
Alright, so we're back. This is the last of the beer. Yeah. This has been warming up now for a little while. It's probably about half an hour. While I've been running around and making notes and doing other things. This is a really, really well crafted beer. What I like about it, the malt flavours. I'm getting caramel. I'm getting rye, so rye bread, brown bread. So it's got a bready quality. Caramel slight toffee flavours. So it's quite sweet on the nose and on the taste, but that's offset with like a citrus grapefruit aroma just sort of poking through, and on the flavour. Same thing. You get big sweet malt, nice medium full body mouthfeel, silky mouthfeel. But then once you swallow, the hops kind of come forward. You get a bitterness that stops it getting too sickly sweet. You get citrusy, pithy grapefruit bitterness that sort of cleans up your palate. But what I really like about the balance between the hops and the malt is sometimes you get the bitterness coming up and it just leaves it feeling bitter or dry. This one, it stops it getting too sweet, like escalating into a really sweet beer, but it stops and you're left with this sort of slight bitterness, slight citrusy note, slight pithy, all the hop flavours with still the sweet malt flavours on your tongue. And that's really cool, and I think that's a sign of a brewer who really knows what they're doing, and the balance to me is pretty much there. So yeah, no off flavours or anything. If I were to change this beer a little bit at all, I would maybe just dial back that sweetness, because I'm picking up some complexity in the hop flavour, which I think is Columbus, because I can kind of vaguely, I'm pretty sure I can recognise the Centennial and Cascade, those citrusy grapefruit flavours, and I'm getting this kind of, it's not right, this fuzz of other hop flavours, but the malt is just such a bold flavour that it's not allowing the Columbus to come through. But it's and that would just maybe make the beer a little less sweet on the lingering flavour. But I'm talking 1 or 2% change in that. But this is a very top quality beer, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's clear as that's cleared up from when I first poured it. So no marks off there. Carbonation was perfect, lovely, fluffy, tight bubble head. Standards high again. SJPORR challenge. Yep. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how my beer goes. So anyway, this is Stas finishing the review off for Grant Baker's. Oh, here we go. Grant Baker's round 1 beer. His amber ale using Cascade, Centennial and Columbus. So until the next one, I hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.